Keith, you ready?
I am ready! Yeah! It's Drake Maye time! Yeah! Yeah! Let's go! It's time! Yeah! We have a season, Jones. We have a football season. Let's go.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm lightheaded.
There's a ton of this confetti in here.
I'm covered in
On the
confetti.
Twitch chat. We are very excited. This is the season begins.
One went in my coffee.
That's all right. Probably protein. This is a 12-week NFL season this year, and it starts on Sunday. Finally, the ABB movement has taken form.
It has landed.
Anybody but Brissett. We got the news yesterday that Drake Maye finally is going to be the starting quarterback. What a thrill. I had my doubts. Monday, you and I said, oh, they're making this change. Then yesterday, at least during our show, crickets, quiet, maybe too quiet.
Yeah, I went down to 51-49.
I got nervous. I was like, no, it's going to be Brissett.
Dangerously close.
Because I'm afraid to have nice things, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm afraid to get my hopes up.
We don't like to get hurt.
No.
No.
I've been hurt too many times before, Jones.
That's true.
And so I was definitely terrified that it was going to be Brissett again. And then you get the announcement yesterday during WEEI afternoons that, look out, it is going to be Drake Maye. What a thrill. What a time to be alive. Holy smokes.
I'm still a little lightheaded from that intro, I got to be honest.
Whew.
It was
good intro by Nick, too, by the way.
Let me tell you, tremendous montage to take you back through it. All the lying over the last 5 weeks about when they were going to go to Drake Maye.
Wow.
Wasn't really going to be in play and all these things. So great work by Nick. That's a reason to tune in, I'd say, every day on twitch.tv/BostonWEEI.
You never know what's going to happen.
I don't know. You needed the full visual, I think.
I'll be honest.
For that intro.
The little kazoos or whatever.
Yeah, try one out again.
Leave a little something to be desired. I think I chucked mine in the celebration. Oh, here it is.
Oh, you got it? Yeah, I went in. I stopped by Party City. Sounds like a wounded animal. I stopped by Party City on the way in. They do great work over there on
they want to sponsor
Road.
like a Drake Maye segment every week.
I mean, look, Party City, sponsorship opportunities, buying opportunities available here on Jones and Keefe. I walk in, I go, do you guys have like any noisemakers?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And they go, sir, it's not New Year's.
What? You can only do noisemakers once a year?
I go, it kind of is. It's Drake Maye Day.
Have you heard about Drake Maye?
Yeah, I
He's
go,
like,
you guys should have been prepared for this, quite frankly. But no, he goes, it's not New Year's, but you can check aisle 5 or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I
there.
found these crappy kazoos.
Yeah, he's like that. Oh, that's good. You can do a little song.
Yeah.
That's not bad. But we are here. Holy mackerel.
What a day.
What a journey.
Let me tell you.
Just like the Swayman contract. What a journey. The ups and downs.
Okay, so
constant asks about Drake Maye. People telling us we're dumb. People telling us that you couldn't give me all the money in the world to play Drake Maye. Oh, we have a plan. We have a plan. All right, Drake Maye. We've seen enough. We've seen enough of Brissett. It's time to move on. Okay,
so we have a lot to get to on the show today.
Yeah, sure do.
Not a great day to be, well, number one, Jeremy Swayman, I guess depending on your view. Good that Corpusalo got bombed last night.
How about your guy, Corpusalo?
No comment.
Welcome to the Bruins.
No comment from Team Corpy today.
Okay.
But when it comes to a few of the contracts around the NHL, we'll get to Jeremy Swayman today. We're, of course, going to get to, a bunch of things. Drake Maye is going to speak live today. Shortly after 11 o'clock, so we'll hear from the
tune even further.
Yeah, we'll have to hear from the head coach of the Patriots. Like, who made this call? Not you.
What happened to the squad meeting?
Yeah, what happened to the squad meeting? What happened to a plan for Drake Maye?
Yeah.
What happened to a lot of stuff? So you're going to hear that live today on Jones and Keefe. We'll, of course, take your phone calls all day long. Fraudulent fan base out there, by the way. Did you see the poll from the Greg Hill show today?
What's the poll? I missed the poll. What'd the poll say?
Okay, well, a week ago they said, should they go to Drake Maye? 50-50 said yes. Or 50 said yes, 50% said no.
It was
50-50 split.
Too close to call.
Yeah.
They were still waiting on certain precincts.
They asked another question today. Do you agree with the Patriots' decision to start Drake Maye? 35% said no. So it's like, you frauds.
Come on.
Whatever the team's doing, you're on board. Exactly.
Be consistent with it.
More of you should hate this decision.
Yeah,
I love it, but there's a lot of you out there that don't, so we'll hear from you all day long. 617-779-7937. You can text the show 37937. We should definitely call a cleaning company to get in here and clean up all this confetti. You can
we
watch.
can leave it for the next show.
Yeah. Arcan and Hart can deal with that. Twitch.tv/BostonWEEI. YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube there. You can also follow along Twitter and Instagram at Jones and Keefe. We obviously both think this is the right call, Keefe. Why do you think they're making the decision now? And How do you feel about the timing with Houston specifically? That's not something we've gotten into a ton these last couple of days.
So, yeah, no, that's a good question about the Houston thing because now a lot of people are getting in on that, and I think we have, the next couple of days to really break that. They're one of the best teams in football, and they have a great defense. They made a rookie quarterback look pretty bad in Caleb Williams a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, there's definitely that part of it. I think at the beginning of all this, it certainly wasn't unanimous to go with Jacoby Brissett. We had talked about this leading right up into the start of the season when we were still both hoping that it was going to be Drake Maye. They go with Brissett. Felt like it was very much an Alex Van Pelt, Elliott Wolf decision. I think at that point, the Crafts were saying, hey, we just hired these guys. We can't make the first major decision for them, right? Otherwise, why'd we even hire them? So if that's who they want, let's go with it. Mayo, I know he kind of walked it back, but he said Van Pelt's the head coach of the offense. So the head coach of the offense probably is going to be able to have a big say in the quarterback. And so I think they played it out. Week 1, they win. But even then, Mayo, you could tell he wasn't super pumped about it. He's like, this isn't sustainable. We need to throw the ball more. That's a problem. But Jacoby's our guy, blah, 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 blah. So then you lose week 2, and it's close. And so it's like there's not a huge cry for the quarterback, even though we were both on it, how he took a sack, got him out of field goal range. Maybe the outcome's different.
Yeah, I mean, you say we were both on it. That was mostly you. I mean, you were leading the charge.
It was a good
on
idea.
That,
I'll lump you in on that.
But like between that play and the Brissett play last week, where he's throwing over the middle of the field, you're not getting anything out of a guy who is supposed to make veteran decisions. He's doing the opposite.
Then the next 3 weeks, it really goes south on you. You have 2 lopsided losses, and then I would say the San Francisco game and the Miami game, Jacoby Brissett played bad. It wasn't good enough or it wasn't okay. He played bad and was one of the reasons that they lost. Now, San Francisco, everything kind of went wrong, but against Miami, it was just such a slog of a game. So if you got better quarterback play, you probably win. And so at this point, I think Mayo says, listen, we did your plan. This was your plan, but we owe it to the rest of the team. Hell, we owe it to me to make this swap. Brissett's not living up to his end of the bargain. We got to play Drake Maye. We got to do it. Plus, he's been practicing, and they can kind of hide him, right? So we don't know how good he's been at practice. But Hunter Henry told us he's a great player. A lot of other guys that have been there at practice have kind of talked him up a little bit. So I think he said enough is enough. I know you're probably going to go a little bit higher with the Crafts, which I also wouldn't rule out, by the way.
Yeah, that is what I think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, A, look who the news leaked out to, Schefter and Rap Sheet. That reeks of ownership. And B, you just said it. Mayo has wanted, we both think, Drake Maye from the start. He said he outplayed Jacoby Brissett. So if Mayo's wanted him for 5 weeks, but he couldn't get it done, how come he can get it done now? Like, I just think somebody else interjected. And let me tell you something.
1 and 4, right? Like, I think
that's true.
You know, and Brissett's been so bad. Like, I think Brissett, hey, it's not turnover. All right, pick 6. And then, you lose the ugliest football game of all time. It's a lot different than, hey, he's doing what we wanted. Defense let you down, bad special teams or whatever. Like, last week, Mayo was... The defense and special teams was good enough to win. Mm-hmm. Like that to me reeked of like that's how he feels, and I just think he has more evidence. Like he can go back to Van Pelt and Wolf and be like, guys, we can't do this.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I do think it goes higher than just Gerard Mayo. You guys can jump in on that. 617-779-7937. Number 1, there were empty seats and booze at Gillette Stadium.
Huge factor.
Number 2, I had not thought of this, and I've heard others say it, and it's a great point. Jacksonville in London in 2 weeks. Remember how embarrassed the Crafts were by the Germany game
cares
last year.
Way more about the international game than he probably should. But
so
yes,
I guess you could make a case that that'd be a reason to wait and start Drake Maye in that game, but start him the game before, get his feet under him so it's not a clown show against a very beatable Jacksonville Jaguars team on a national stage that whether or not you care about it as a fan, I don't give 2 craps about it. Robert Kraft cares about it. It is a standalone island showcase game for his franchise internationally in front of the world. And he doesn't want Jacoby Brissett out there like that. He and Jonathan. That's why I think it goes higher than just Gerard Maye.
And you might be right. And I think it could be one of those things. I think we asked Kern about it, maybe a few other Patriot reporters about it, where Kraft might not say, guys, you're making this move. But he could pop into the old coach's office and be like, so what are we feeling about Drake Maye?
Yep.
Like classic, it's your idea, but you can kind of know how I feel about it. And I think that sort of helps speed up the process a little bit. If this game on Sunday was in Houston, do you think Drake Maye starts?
No.
Yeah, I think the back-to-back home games, and then it's the London game, and then they're back home again. So I feel like that's a big...
Against a team Maye's already faced in the New York Jets.
And a team that stinks a lot worse than I certainly thought, maybe others going into the season thought. So, this Houston team is a really tough team, but Jacksonville stinks. The Jets kind of stink. I'm not upset at all, or I can't question that they finally went to him. However, how do you not go to him last week?
Okay, so I think that's a totally fair. Why now is a totally fair second guess. What took so long? I thought you had a plan that you were sticking to, and you're already blowing it up. I'm happy he's playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to freak out too much because I did get what I wanted, but like this.
Don't tell me this was the plan.
No, you should have started him week 1, but okay, that got thrown out the window. Then you should have started him against San Francisco because they were down, and you had a long week to prepare because you had the Thursday game against the Jets. And if you didn't do that, you should start him against Miami because that team stinks right now.
Okay, so this is how I feel too. So it's like I'm not going to cry about it.
No.
I'm happy he's in. Obviously, confetti's everywhere in this studio. Like, we're happy he's in.
Yes.
But don't lie to me and tell me this is your plan, that it was week 6 all along and this was the plan. Obviously, there are outside factors. The other rookies playing well. How bad the team is struggling. Empty seats, booing at the stadium, like a business aspect, and the international game looming. Here's the thing, though. If you have outside factors and not just your plan, you run into playing Drake Maye against Houston, which I'm sure you've seen a lot of these tweets out there. They're number 1 or at least high on the list, depending on what metric you look at, for pressure rates. And the Patriots obviously allow
they get after you.
An exceptionally high pressure rate.
Yeah.
You ready for the quarterback numbers against Houston this year?
Let's hear it. I know one of them, but go ahead. Give me
Mark Daniels tweeted this out. Anthony Richardson, 9 for 19, 212, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Suggests, though, he blows.
Yeah, not great.
Anthony Richardson's not good, at least not yet.
Caleb Williams, 23, 37, 174, 2 picks.
7 sacks.
7 sacks in that game?
He got sacked 7 times.
Didn't even know that.
Now, that was also his second start, and he's gotten better. So that game didn't break him. He actually just had his best game last week. But, yes, they stuffed Caleb Williams.
Trevor Lawrence, 18 for 33, 169. He did throw 2 touchdowns. Sam Darnold kind of lit it up, 17 of 28, 184, 4 touchdowns. And
4 touchdowns?
Yeah. And then Josh Allen, 9 for 30, 131, and a touchdown.
They got Josh Allen. So the Vikings is obviously their one loss. So Sam Darnold lit him up. That was the one team that beat him. But Trevor Lawrence isn't off to a great start. The fact that he threw a couple of touchdowns actually gives me a little bit of
hope.
so
you're actually more encouraged by those numbers.
A little bit more, actually, than those numbers. Now, and they're getting after him, and I know the pressure rates for the Patriots, one thing they keep showing is how many pressures and the pass block win rate. Not to bog all this down with stats, but that's one thing that they keep showing, and the Patriots are awful at it. Didn't last week feel a little bit better, and it also felt like they got maybe the right personnel, and those guys actually stayed healthy?
Yes.
Like, I'm not saying you got to throw those stats out. You can't. This is what we have through 5 games. But they've had 4 different starting left tackles. They've had a variety. They've had a bunch of different 2 different centers. They've had a bunch of different guards. They've moved guys all around. So if it's the same 5 from last week, I feel like they're not good, but they're better than what the stats would tell you.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'd also add this. You know who also gets pressured all the time? Jaden Daniels. And you know what he does? He gets pressured, and he leaves the pocket and goes out and makes a play.
He's so good.
Throwing on the run or just scrambling. And this is now a real reality with this offense now that you have Drake Maye. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Devin McCourty yesterday tweeted out, he quote-tweeted Florio, who said Drake Maye's getting the job. McCourty said, wish they would have made Houston figure this out on game day.
So just keep it under your hat all the way till then.
I've heard a lot of this.
Robert's got tickets to sell, Devin.
Okay, well, but I don't even care about that. I just think the idea that Houston, like now, oh, great, we don't have to game plan for Jacoby Brissett. That's so dumb to me. Yeah. And, like, Devin McCourty is a Pro Bowler and an all-time great Patriot and knows way more about it than me. And I don't think he doesn't know what he's talking about. I just think he's been brainwashed by Bill.
Yeah, I think he's thinking a little too hard about that.
I think all that Drake Maye film the Texans have.
But seriously, he's just
loaded.
Do you think
when he played against Virginia, this is how you got him.
Do you think the Texans really care? They're like, we've shut down Josh Allen last week. We don't really care who's starting on the other side. And, like, this element of surprise is going to sneak up on Houston. Is so stupid. It's just dumb.
No. And just to piggyback off of that, did the Carolina Panthers, I know it's since gone back downhill, but when they benched Bryce Young and went to Andy Dalton, was that right before kickoff?
No,
it wasn't.
And how did Andy Dalton?
How did Dalton do in that first game?
He was phenomenal.
So they had all week to plan for Andy Dalton, and he still torched them.
How?
Okay, I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't really know either.
Very, very, very.
Yeah, that's
confusing.
a little too much. Like the gamesmanship aspect of it. I did think, I don't know how many people care about this, but it is one of those. The national guys get it on a Tuesday, even though Mayo's going to talk Wednesday. Okay. Why doesn't he just do it? But whatever.
I only care in this regard. I think that came from ownership. And so that to me tells you that the whole team didn't know. Is that problematic? Does that speak to an issue with messaging? I know they're trying to clean that up and like, oh, no, he totally told the quarterbacks. Okay, he didn't tell the whole team. The whole team probably found out from Schefter and Rap Sheet and Sports Center and whatever else yesterday.
My guess is the defense isn't staying up all that late for Houston, regardless of who the quarterback is.
My guess is when they found out, they went out and bought confetti guns like we did and fired them off everywhere. But I think there's a story there in how it came out. But the idea of saving it until Sunday to sneak up on Houston, foolish. And I don't really even blame Devin McCourty. I just think Bill brainwashed. I mostly blame Bill for that. Like, Bill couldn't make an announcement and all the gamesmanship. He did gamesmanship all year last year with Mac and Zappy. That didn't work at all.
No.
Not at all.
No.
So I just think that's foolish. Starting against Houston, not ideal. I'm happy it's here. Don't tell me that's the plan. Who do you think made the call? Was it Mayo? Does it go higher than Gerard Mayo to ownership? Or was it just time to get Jacoby Brissett out of there?